Okay, listen. We tried to do a joint live over at Francis Psychotherapy's Instagram feed, but Instagram keeps messing with Roxanne. And I feel so bad for her because we're having this really great conversation. Hey Amanda, hey Sophia, Charmaine, hey everybody, because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and she is a specialist, dealing in mental wellness, and she's also a client of mine. And we started having this really juicy conversation over on her feed, but Instagram does not want to cooperate. So I really hope that Roxanne will come over and join me over here if she sees that I went live. That would be, because I don't know, maybe it's just her feed over there that they're messing with, and over here, like, everything seems clear. You guys can hear me. And what I wanted to do is continue the conversation. I really hope, if Roxanne can see this, that she comes on over. Oh, there's Roxanne. Hey, Roxanne. So Roxanne, I was just saying, like, IG just may be messing with you. We can totally do it over here and see what happens, and then we'll know if it's your feed or nah. Okay, so if you want to request to join, I will. There you are. We will, make sure we somehow share it in other places. You guys, I don't know. It don't want it doesn't want to cooperate, and I don't know. Like, if you start cutting out, I have to kick you off the IG because.
Yeah, that's totally. Then it'll be me, right? I don't know what's going on. My internet has been fine all day.
Yeah, it's only when you have something that you really have to do that the internet wants to mess around. It happens. This happened to me for a week once. Like, every time I was going to have a Zoom call with a client, the internet wanted to cut out. It happens. And I would be like, what the hell is going on?
I feel like I'm wasting your time. I feel like I'm wasting everybody else's time. Like, I want to throw up
It's fine. It's fine. And no one else is doing nothing else. Okay? It's fine.
Thanks for the love, Sophia.
This is just what it is. We're just gonna act like nothing happened, and we're gonna continue this conversation. So we were talking about supportive partners and why it was easy for Corey to be empathetic when I got diagnosed, because he had been through his own journey. And we were talking about, you were asking me if when I was, did any of the doctors offer any stuff for mental wellness, right? Yes, Charmaine, Queens hold up Queens. We good. We good, girl. And they do offer, like, therapists who have dealt with other breast cancer people. They have groups. They have this place is called Wellsprings in Toronto. They have 3 locations where it's totally free. You can go there. You can take cooking classes, educational classes, meet with other women. You can go there and just read books and hang out. And that was because it's far from me, I didn't utilize it because I was like, I'm sick. I don't know how I'm getting to these places to do the things. And what I found about the groups, a community is very important, but I did 2 different retreats around women who were hosting for women with breast cancer. Now, here's the issue with breast cancer. It's been known as an older woman disease. Like, if older people get cancer, young people don't get cancer. Young people get it all the time. Okay. But there's the support needs to be different for those 2 groups. So there's a group called Rethink Breast Cancer, which are for young women with cancer. They are amazing. I discovered them later in the game. So they were a really great resource. Right. Now, the only thing that I discovered when I first started going to groups, and first of all, the groups did not work for me. And I'll tell you why. When you're in it, if you're at a different stage than other people who've been down that road, it can be really scary to have conversations with them because you want to believe that that's not going to be your story. Right. And that was something I ran into. I went to this retreat. to be around other women who were going through it. And we were all at different stages. And the stories they were telling terrified me because I had only done my second round of chemo. I had just lost all of my hair, but I had both of my breasts still. I was like, her story is not going to be my story, you know, and I left there with so much angst and heaviness that I didn't have before I went there.
Wow.
You know, like I appreciate the education piece, but it was really overwhelming. And when people ask me now, when they're in that situation, should they go to a group? I'm like, you better do some research on that group.
Right.
Right? Like, what are they talking about in there?
Right.
You know, because it's very different and everyone's experience is different. So what's interesting is I left this group thinking I'm going to for sure lose my breasts. I was like, this is what's going to happen now. Because the doctor said, you know, most likely that's what's going to happen. I've got these women telling me these stories, you know, and I was like, okay, well, this is what's going to happen. Come to find out, by the time I did chemo before I did surgery. So the chemo in my case worked extremely well, shrunk everything. And by the time they were ready to do surgery, they're like, we don't have to take your breast because it's not there.
So that was the plan.
Yeah, that was always the plan. The plan was to take it. One of them, take them.
Wow.
And he was like, I remember that I actually filmed it because I was about to go to the appointment and I went on Facebook and I was telling myself I needed my community because I started an online community of just people. I was like, come on the journey with Mo. Okay. I have a whole other feed. The whole other feed, it's called Surprise It's Cancer. And you can see it from beginning to end, my journey. But I went on Facebook, I did a live, it was my first Facebook Live. And I said, you know, I'm going to this appointment. Everything's going to be fine. But I was terrified. I was crying. I was like, it's going to be okay. And I filmed it and I like that I filmed it because I can go back and see how far I've come. And then I got to do a video afterwards to be like, he said you get to keep your boobs. I was like, what? And I almost felt every time I go to this doctor, he has bad news for me since the beginning. His face never changes. And I remember him telling me this and me being like, if that's the case, why your face looks so glum? And he's like, oh no, this is just my face. I'm like, I was like, Dr. I don't want I said, no, you better perk it up. I was like, is that all? I grabbed my stuff, grabbed Corey, and we like dash out that place. I was like, bye. Right? And I was very, very, very lucky because I got to meet other women whose that was not the case.
Right.
You know, and they're dealing with having a piece of them missing. You know, and I remember people saying to me like, oh, if you like get your breasts removed, you'll just get a boob job. Right. And I was like, it's not an augmentation, it's an amputation.
That's right.
That's not, you didn't voluntarily do something. Hello, dingies. Yeah. And a lot of there's a lot of people who do not respond well to putting foreign objects in their body.
That's true.
There's like all kinds of other complications that can happen. And that terrified me as well. So that's what happened with that. I did end up having lumpectomy surgery, which is where they go in, they check and make sure there's no microscopic cancer hiding, which, you know, which did end up resulting in a pretty bad infection. Yeah, it's like I kept getting to a place where I was like, is this done yet? Because I'm getting annoyed, you know? And that was a very traumatizing experience because, you know, I'll just spare all the gory details of it. But I essentially had to wear a mini vacuum that was attached to my boob to remove the infection for 2 months. Wow. You know, and every time something happened, I remember thinking, oh, here we go again, right? And I had to continuously stop myself from thinking that because I kept waiting. It was just another reminder of like, we're always waiting for something to be done or something to happen before we go and do the thing we really want to do.
Exactly.
And I kept right? And I kept saying, okay, well, when the chemo's done, I'll be okay. When the radiation's done, okay. When the surgery's, and what was happening is my life is already happening, and we don't know what's coming. So I had to really just get with Monique. Every healthy day is a blessing. So go do what you want to be doing on those healthy days. I don't care what they are.
Yes.
Whatever they are, whatever it is. Plan your trips. Start your business. Work with clients. Do what you want to do. Go to brunch.
So that brings me to something that I've heard you say before, that you started this current business that you started from your bed. Can you talk to me a little bit about how you found the energy, the strength, the drive to actually say, all right, I'm not sure what's around the next corner, but I'm actually going to start this business?
Yeah, really what the driving force was, like, we all get fueled by different things. I get fueled by anger. I get fueled by people telling me I can't do something. And that's what I felt was happening here. I was like, how dare you try to take me out of this game when I'm not finished? And I know I'd wasted some time doing other things. Okay, good. So really what was driving me was that I don't know how long I have. And we never knew. Like, you never know. But this became very in my face. Yeah, this became very in my face. And I said, well, if I don't know how much time I have, I especially don't know how many healthy days I have, because I never knew what it was like to be constantly feeling sick all the day, all the time, every day, with no like relief. That was before, I didn't know that if I had really got on the marijuana train, I would have been better. I would have been more happy managing this whole situation. But I got on that train real late, and I didn't know that would help, but apparently it helps quite well. So it was really this drive, this passion of around like, well, I can't leave here without leaving my mark, and I haven't left it yet. That was my driving force.
Okay. That's awesome. That's amazing. So how do you, now that you're sort of out of those woods, right? How do you maintain your health now? How do you take care of yourself now? What do you do?
It's an interesting question. And I'll tell you why. Because before the cancer, I was super diligent with my health, with the food I ate, with the going to the gym, with the staying positive, with the personal development. I was doing all the right things. So as soon as I felt better, I actually started being like, having these feelings of, well, what's the point? Why am I doing all those things? And for a little bit, I was like, I had to really remind myself that because my body was in such good condition, it was able to fight. If I had been, it is about arming yourself. So that's something I had to take on, because I was like, I don't understand. I was doing everything right. I got sick anyways. However, I may not have come out of it as great as I did if I was dealing with an unhealthy body to begin with. Right? Because chemo, it's magic, but it's also poison. It is stripping all your good stuff. It will wear you down. It's gone. You're done. If you ain't got no good stuff to take, you in trouble. Right? So after I decided, like, okay, Monique, you can't sit around and eat cheeseburgers all day and, whatever. Together. I would say that, like, I would love to say, like, oh, now I'm running like 5 miles a day and I'm vegan and I'm doing all the right stuff. No, none of that is true. I'm still a human being doing a lot of things that if you ask my naturopathic doctor, he'd be like, can you please stop that? Right? So I am better, and like right now I'm gluten-free, for example. I know gluten will create inflammation. Inflammation will do all of these other things to me. Right? I also try to be dairy free. I know that that creates inflammation. Inflammation causes disease. Disease could probably be my cancer, right?
Yeah.
So there's things that I'm doing. I make sure that I'm active. I think that that's a big piece of my recovery. Like even when I was ill, I was taking walks. It was kind of like COVID. I can't go anywhere. I can't interact with people.
Because you're immune compromised.
Yeah, exactly. You walk the block. That's what you can do. You can walk the block. You can do some yoga in your room, barely, and that's it. So I always keep exercise exercise is actually like my form of meditation. Like it's keeps my mind right.
Good.
Oh, 100%. That's why this whole, like the closing of the gyms that they've done in some regions, it's like that is really detrimental to people who need that for their mental health. Right? Like I don't like it was such a different now, like we're in Durham, so Orange Theory's open, like I can still go, which is great. But when it wasn't open, I could feel my whole body change. My mood changes. Like it's completely different. So I know like what this is like for people dealing with not being able to go anywhere and do the things, not even just do the things I like to do, but do the things that brought them health and clarity. You know? So I'm trying to do better always, and that's all we can do.
Yeah.
But and I have like I'm lucky that I have a lot of healthy people around me. Like
that's unity.
Huge support. Without that, I'd be sitting here eating Doritos while we're talking. I'd be like nom 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 nom, right? But because I have, you know, Corey's really healthy. He cares about his health. He's very diligent. You know, my siblings, my brothers, you know, they keep our elders in check and make them work out and make them proper. We have conversations about diet and food. You know, whenever they see me eating something I shouldn't, I get to, like, my brother will like snatch it out. I remember running into him during when the beginning of COVID started. He lives near me. So I was like, you know, you've got to stock up. You got to fill your house and your pantry because COVID's going to shut. He's like, oh, okay, I guess. Right. Because he's not a panic person. So he's just like, if you say so. So we go to the grocery store. I'm like, I can't fit all my groceries in the car. I bought all these things. He comes, he looks at these like Eggo waffles and stuff in the cart. He brings another cart and he starts unloading. He's like, nah. He's like, you don't need this. Nope. No. He's like, didn't you have cancer? He's like, what is going on? He's like, COVID did not give you permission to get out of pocket. He's like, no, this is ridiculous.
COVID did not, I'm writing that down. COVID did not give you permission. I like that you have people around you to keep you in check.
Yeah.
Right?
We need it in every aspect. I don't know. I can't do this by myself. I cannot keep it in check by myself. The temptation is too big. Everywhere the temptation. You know?
So, all right. So I know it's getting late. It's almost 9 o'clock. Talk to me about advice. If you were to talk to a woman who's currently on this journey, right? She's struggling with her mortality, anxiety about treatment, and what would you say around just keeping your mind on track, keeping yourself sort of focused?
Hey, Fran. Thanks, Fran. Well, one thing definitely while I was going through it, meditation really helped. Now, before this, I knew meditation was beneficial, but here's the thing. When I was going through treatment, I couldn't do anything but meditate. You know, it's like if you're like literally your body's in pain, your body's tired, but your mind's awake. What else are you going to do? You can't watch TV. At the time, I couldn't watch TV. The glare would hurt me. I'd have headaches. So you can't talk to people because literally sometimes the sound of people's voices would exhaust me. So I can't talk to anybody. I can't look at my screens and text. I can't watch TV. I can't watch Netflix. So you sit there in the dark.
Wow.
You can't read a book. What the F are you going to do? So my friend had sent me a Deepak Chopra, Oprah, like subscription to this, you know, you listen to it and you do the thing. I was like, I ain't got nothing else to do because I wasn't going to use it. I was like, that is so sweet. And literally some days that's all I could do. And it would bring me so much peace.
Wow.
Because it's the deep breathing, the being there, the deep breathing, the being there.
Yeah.
Right. So that I would say is something that I have to continuously get back on that train.
Yeah.
Like even now, to keep my mind calm, to keep it right. Because I always forget to breathe. I'm a shallow breather. Some days I'm like, did I even breathe once today? Like real breathe, like real bring breath in the body,
Real
you know?
breath. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, the advice is really like, it's going to suck. No one's going to understand. Don't try and make them. Don't take care of anybody's feelings but your own.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to take care of other people's feelings while you're trying to heal is detrimental. It's
Mm-hmm.
exhausting and it's detrimental. So what I did is I got that advice from another survivor. Before I started treatment, I said, what advice would you give somebody who was just diagnosed? And she said, feel it all. She said, feel the anger, feel the hurt, feel the sadness, everything. Feel it and don't try to ignore it. Don't try to push any of the feelings down. Don't let people be like, oh, you got to be positive. Yes, you got to be positive. But on the days you don't feel it, don't feel it. Don't do it. Don't fake nothing for nobody.
Right.
And don't take care of anybody else's feelings. And it was like she gave me permission to literally, for the probably the first time, be 110% authentic with every human being I came into contact with. Yeah. Every single one. So what I did is I would tell people, like, I don't know how I'm going to be. There'll be days you'll talk to me, we'll be on a call, and I'll literally have to get off. And it's not you. Just get that it's me. There'll be times you're going to want to come and see me, and I'm going to say no. I had friends who came to the door. I can't let you in. Mm-hmm. Today wasn't the day, you know, but I let them know it's not you. This is how Monique needs to deal with how it's going down.
Right.
You know, like even my mother, I love my mother, but she was one of those people who can't hide her worry. And I can't look at your face and heal over here because now I'm trying to take care of you.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. And that isn't going to work. So I love her, but she wasn't, she wasn't here. The faces I could look at were very few. And Corey was the main one. I knew when something was wrong if I looked at his face because his face was always positive. And every time I looked at it, it looked like nothing was wrong. From everything. You lose your hair, nothing's wrong. You lose your eyebrows, nothing's wrong. Lose your eyelash, nothing's wrong. Walking around with a vacuum attached to your boob, nothing's wrong. Like, nothing's wrong. He's like, no, this is just this thing. What? This is almost over. What are you talking about? And you need people like that, right? Yeah. You need people like that. And I really, really, my heart goes out to anyone who's going through it who doesn't have that. So one thing I also did, and I still do, is I actually had conversations with complete strangers. Like they would find me online. They'd be like, I'm going through this. I'm not as vocal as you, you know, and I'd be like, let's have a conversation. Because it was so, the thought of not having anyone while going through that, it broke my heart. Like it would really like get to me because I'm like, I couldn't imagine no one being here, no one I could tap into while this was happening. Like that's terrifying. That's terrifying. Yeah. You don't know if you're going to be here. You don't know who to talk to, all these things. And if you have people, I always say it's like, it's difficult, but you just got to tell people how to be with you. Right. Yeah. Like I could call, like, you know, chemo, first of all, things like doctor's appointments, you want to bring somebody with you, even if you think you can do it on your own. Yes. Right. Like you just don't know. There's so many medical terms coming at you. And this is why I'm always like, how do older people handle these doctor's appointments? I'd leave a doctor's appointment and be like, Corey, do you know what she said? She said 15 different terms, phrases, appointment dates, and I don't know what's going on. Sometimes he'd come out and be like, I don't know what she said. So we actually started tape recording the sessions.
That's awesome. That's a really good idea.
The doctor didn't know, but I was tape recording everything because I said, I'm not following what she's saying for some reason. Like, and that's the thing too. Once you start going through chemo, your brain gets really fuzzy, and that lasts up until still. So I had to tape record everything because I was like, I don't know what she's talking about, you know. And then chemo, is like a 4-hour session. Chemo is not like you go, you get a shot. 4 hours intravenous in a chair, you sit there. You don't want to sit there by yourself because who do you have to look at?
Right.
Other cancer patients. Yeah. Lord have mercy. And most of them are old. They're older than you are, right? So you just, it's not a pleasant environment. But I remember I could count maybe one time where I actually felt horrible at chemo because I brought people with me. Now, this may be different because we're in COVID. You can't just bring anyone up into the hospital. Yep. But I had someone there every single time to distract me from what the hell is going on right now. And then the other thing I did is I made sure I wasn't showing up to chemo raggedy. Now, this is a personal preference.
I love that.
Someone said this to me once, you know, wear something bright. You know, wear something that makes you feel good. Don't go in there looking like a cancer patient if that makes you feel bad. Now, listen, if you don't have energy, that you don't have energy. But there was probably a week, 2 weeks between each treatment. And on the last week, I would always feel my best. So by the time I go to chemo, I'm feeling great.
Good, yeah.
But that doesn't last because then you go back into chemo. Good. But I was like, nope, I was wearing bright colors. I was wearing my lipstick. I was wearing sunglasses. I was like, I would go to chemo and then people would be like, oh, you're almost done treatment. And I'd be like, no, we just started. No, this is me. This is how we're going to be. I was wearing gold slippers. It was just, I was like, yeah.
So Charmaine, this is an interesting question that I had thought of before as well. Were there other women of color? And did you feel sort of like
there were very, very, very few. Very few women of color, I will say. I would probably, like, if I can remember, when I think about it, I remember seeing maybe 3 in total.
Wow.
At all during the entire time.
Wow.
During the whole time. And one woman, she passed away because we became, when you see, you know, another Black woman who looks about your age, you know, her and I had this long conversation when I was there. She was going through chemo for the second time. She had such a story and we became Facebook friends. And one day I went on her page and there was, you know, the information for her funeral. Yeah. And it messed with me. Like, it was like, you're here and then you're not. Yeah. You're here and then you're not. And I didn't get to know her the way I had hoped. Yeah. But it was like, I had to, at the time, compartmentalize all of it. I had to be like, this is happening, but I can't actually acknowledge it's happening, or I'm not going to be able to wake up in the morning. Yeah. 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 Wow. You know, so there aren't that many women of color. And I find women, like, we don't talk about these things. Exactly. We're not talking about it. We're not sharing, you know, and, you know, Andrea Henry, who introduced us, you know, it's interesting because we met in a mastermind group where she was a guest expert. And it wasn't until maybe, it was probably like, I don't even know, months later, I was done all the treatment and done the surgery and cleared to get on an airplane. Because, you know, Monique likes to travel. So I was like, Corey, we're out of here. Out. We're gone. We go to Portugal. Corey had never been to Europe. It was like, we were like, oh my God, this is the best thing that could have ever happened to us. And then while I'm there, I get this email from Andrea being like, I don't know if you remember me. And she had just been diagnosed and she doesn't know any other Black women with cancer. And she couldn't believe when she looked me up that I had cancer, because her and I had a few interactions already. Right. And I was like, I thought everybody knew. Right. So Andrea and I since then have become really good friends, and like, to have someone who can really go through your experience that looks like you, it's invaluable. And that's another thing that's why I made speaking such an important part of my life, because I said, I never went anywhere where somebody was talking about this who looked like me. Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
Nobody's talking about this. And I got to
Yep.
speak, like as soon as I could, I felt well enough to speak, I went and I would speak anywhere he would ask me to speak at the time, you know, because I was just like, Black ladies, Black gals, listen,
We're not talking about
we're
it.
not talking about this. We're not checking ourselves. I had friends who were like, I found all kinds of lumps, but I'm not going to check it out. I was like, good. Yeah. The fear stops you. The
Yeah.
fear of knowing. And I always say, you know, whether you know or you don't know, you could still have cancer.
Exactly.
I'm like,
will help you move through it, right? Once you know, you can do something about it.
early detection is the only cure we have.
Yeah.
Early
Yeah.
detection, you
Yeah.
know? So it's so much more common than we know.
Yeah.
And not enough people are sharing their story or talking about it or seeking help.
Yeah.
They're doing it alone. Don't put your business on the street. Don't look like a burden. Like all these things we were told.
But then we
That,
feel isolated.
yes. And isolation is, how do you heal in isolation? Like, how do you really heal?
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
keep your mind right when you have no outlet, when you have nobody, when you have no joy, when you have just fear? It deteriorates your body. Your mind and your body, like, you know, they're connected. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
That's awesome. All right. So I don't want to keep you for much longer. I want to thank you. I'm so glad that you've been in remission. How long have you been in remission?
I have been in remission since 2018, right? About that.
Yay!
I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't remember when I was diagnosed. Yes, I was diagnosed in 2017, finished treatment in 2018. So yeah, since then, I
I'm
have
so
been.
thankful that
Me
you are here,
too.
you are alive, and you are well, and you are changing people's lives. You've certainly changed mine. We're on your feed, so all the people here already know how awesome you are. If you're not in Monique's program, get on it. Um,
But it's funny. I'm so happy that we're doing this. Like, I mean, yes, I would love to have done it on your feed, but it wasn't, IG wasn't allowing it to happen. But I don't talk about this. I haven't talked about it live in a very long time.
Yeah.
Over here on the feed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm happy that you asked me to do this so we could have this conversation, because you know, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it's breast cancer awareness all day, all the time.
Yeah, every day.
As long as you have them, keep an eye on them. First of the month, feel it on the first. I talk about it every beginning of the month. If you check your breast every month, you'll know immediately if something's wrong the next month.
Yes.
Because if I hadn't been checking, I would literally have thought nothing of it, because it wasn't, the lump I found was not even on my breast. It was on my chest. It was up here. Yes.
Wow.
It was up here. Wow. So I don't think breast cancer was the furthest thing from my mind. It's a lump up here. It's a pulled muscle, clearly. Like, what are we talking? Clearly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, you've got to know your body inside and out, because you only got the one.
Yes, that's right.
And your body is such a miracle. It can do so many things. The healing that it did, honestly, like baffles me the things that it did.
Wow.
Really. So we've got this one body. We have to take care of it, because we only have one. We can't take care of anyone else unless we're taking care of ourselves first. You know, and someone had asked, how do you check? So I'm not gonna do a demonstration here, obviously, but I will say, I want you to go and Google self breast exam. It's so simple to do, that I want you to go and do that, because it actually has pictures. And then on the first of every month, I post it on my feed anyways. And you may want to go follow Feel It on the First, which is an account that talks about checking yourself every month. That's the suggestion I'm going to make about that one.
Okay. That's awesome. Monique, you are a powerhouse. You are a force to be reckoned with, and we are all better off because you are here. I want to thank you for rescuing my life tonight when IG wasn't playing with me, and we brought the party over here. So thank you, all of you who are here tonight, although Monique is kind of hosting me, but
no, this is your show. You're interviewing me. I don't care where it is. Half of these people, I never see these people on my live. So I'm like, this is fantastic. I love you too.
You guys don't, hopefully IG will work with me again next week, Wednesday. I'm usually on Afterthought every Wednesday at 8 o'clock over at Francis Psychotherapy, but IG kept kicking me off. So we brought the party over here.
Yes.
And
go follow Roxanne. Roxanne is about changing lives as well. So hello.
We change lives together.
We be changing lives in different ways, but we be changing them lives.
Yeah. Yes.
So Roxanne, you keep doing what you're doing, and you keep bringing the light to the people who need it, because we're all in this together. We all in this together, baby.
We need community. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your story. You have a wonderful, wonderful night. You guys take care, and don't forget to take care of your body and your mind, because you only have one.
Boom, shakalaka. I love it.
All right. Take care, my friend. Have a good night.
All right. Bye, guys.